Hello, business besties. All right. Hello, business besties. I want to welcome you to the Best Kept Small Business Secrets, the podcast where we pull back the curtain and uncover the real strategies that help small businesses thrive. I'm Nicole, your business bestie and coach. And after years of coaching entrepreneurs, I have found one thing to be clear, that there's no one-size-fits-all formula for success. Not one at all. Every business has its own secret sauce. And through these conversations, I'm so excited you're going to discover powerful lessons and probably some actionable insights that can help you do the things right now, maybe a little bit differently, work smarter, and more importantly, grow with purpose. So there's no fluff here. Well, there might be some fluff because we like to have fun, but just real talk and real strategies to help you create the business you've been dreaming of. And so now, you guys, I'm so excited to introduce today's guest. I have the amazing Kate Ship with us today. And if you don't know who she is, you are really in for a treat. So Kate is the owner of not one, but two businesses, The Window Within and Choose Happy Travels. And you guys, she is the best-selling author of this amazing book called I Am Strong Enough Now, God Thanks. I always get it confused. I always want to say it differently, but I'm like this. If you haven't read this book, you need to get this book. We were just talking before we started that it's been almost 3 years since she wrote this book, but I promise you it is amazing. And I think I read it in the course of 48 hours. I couldn't put it down. It was so good. So I just want you, if you haven't read that book, you need to read that book. So, and just a little introductory, she is a life strategist and a holistic trauma specialist. And so her zone of genius, you guys, is really helping women live their most authentic lives by guiding them to reclaim their safety and embrace all parts of themselves. And I feel like, Kate, we could talk for hours on so many things. So it was actually hard for me to prep for this because I was like, there's so many. So this honestly might be part one of many episodes to come, but we're going to just start here because I feel like we're going to try to tone it down for everybody. But so Kate, really, like, you built such a meaningful, impactful places for people through your work. And I know you have so much magic to share with us today. So I'm going to stop talking and let you really get started and let us just really embrace this conversation because I am truly so honored that you're spending time today with me and our listeners. So as we get started, first, I feel like I just want to, after all that talking, I'll start with an easy question for you. I feel like there's so many things to talk about, but I'm going to start with something fun. So what is one thing that you've been totally obsessed with lately? Like, is a show, a meal, a book, a hobby? I didn't tell her to prep for this, so.
That's a really good question. Obsessed with lately. This will be of no surprise. I think I've become most recently obsessed with understanding how travel can heal people in ways that other things can't.
Oh, that is amazing.
For me, that was a huge learning through a grief healing journey the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. And as someone who's done a very long list of different types of therapeutic modalities to help myself through the years, travel wasn't one of them until it was. Right. And then when I traveled, I recognized how getting myself so far away from my day-to-day norms in other cultures, in places that weren't familiar, that it allowed me to get to know myself in a totally different way and to explore aspects of myself in relationship to other places that were new to me. And it opened something up within me that I had no idea was so dormant. And it's part of what was the birthing behind my second business, Choose Happy Travels, was understanding that through travel with intentionality of feeling safe and secure and holistic modalities intertwined, we can actually rewire and repair our nervous system for joy.
Oh, I feel like that is so beautiful. And like a true entrepreneur, you see man, this is what I've done.
Yeah. Turn that off.
But what I love about you and why I think you're one of the perfect people to come in here is because then you take action and you have created this because you've lived it and then you've done it and you're like, I want to share. More people need to know this, right? Because it's not.
And seeing it we took a group, my partner and I, in that we took a group to Scotland in September. There were 16 of us. And I
Amazing.
got to witness them reclaim that wonder and that joy and that awe of being with like-hearted people in safe experiences where they could really, like, whatever they needed was available for them in the experience we were having. But to see like their hearts open and the giggling and laughing till they were crying, and the love and the beauty and the joy, and it was like there's
Oh.
something to this. Like, so while yes, I'm obsessed with Scotland, everyone who knows me knows that.
Yeah.
Like, it's a homecoming. I consider it my soul's home. But
Yeah.
more than that, it's like the getting us outside of our day-to-day life has the potential for so much healing. And it doesn't have to be going across the world. It could be going 2 hours away,
Right.
to allow that for yourself.
Well, and I think, and this is where, like, when I first was like, oh my gosh, I want you on here because you're so good at cultivating safe spaces for people to heal and do that. Because truly, like, not many people could take people to Scotland and have them come back
And the
feeling.
number one feedback we had, which was mind-blowing to me when we got this feedback, the number one piece of feedback that we received was how safe everyone felt.
I
Every
mean,
single person said that. And we were like, we never considered that in the creation of this experience. Safety to me is always primary number one because I didn't have a lot of safety growing up. And so part of my interest in cultivating safe spaces, I think, was because I didn't have them. So I want people to experience that. And what everyone needs to feel safe is very personal and unique. But I never would have thought that was what the feedback was going to be. The number one piece, almost every single person,
oh,
if not everyone, said, we felt so safe because of you two and everything you guys did to make sure that we were going to be okay and safe. I mean, it was just profound.
that is profound. Because how do you travel to another country that most people probably have never been to and be able to create that? Like,
And I think it speaks to when and this is one of the things I wanted to discuss in business realm, was how cultivating safety within the nervous system is, to me, one of the most important things to grow your business. But
yeah.
it also speaks to, I think sometimes people think of safety as their external environment instead of
Ooh.
cultivating safety as the internal experience with which you're creating something.
Oh, so good. So
And
true.
so,
It's,
like, these people, most of them knew each other, some of them didn't, but they trusted me and my business partner in this, Margie. They trusted us and our nervous systems to know that we would help keep them safe. So it
right.
wasn't even about where we were, it was about who we are and
Yeah.
how we choose to show up.
And that is an amazing thing. And that's where I think too, like, that energetic hold that you have around all of that, and the intentionality is huge. Absolutely
And
huge.
I never, like, these are things that, so I'm in year 14 of my business, and there was not a chance I would have had a language for this even 5 or 6 years ago. Like, I've been blessed with a lot of mentors in my life who have said to me, even when I was in different trainings, they've asked, like, how do you know to do what you do? Like, what is it within you that
Yeah.
allows you to be that compassionate space, that safe space? And even one of my teachers in a continuing ed training, the other assistants went up to her and they're like, who taught her to do that? And the teacher looked at me and smiled and looked at them and they're like, that's just her. That's not taught. And I looked at her and she just smiled and I was like, I don't even know what that means. And it received it as, there's something that each of us has that is unteachable, that
Mm-hmm.
when we tap into it, that's what kind of emanates from us.
Yeah.
And I think through holistic therapies, I was able to access that within myself. And, whatever someone wants to call it for themselves, we each have it manifested differently within. And to me, it's like I access that through understanding my nervous system. And I didn't know that all those years ago the way I do now. And I think it's, if there's kind of a magic button in business, I think it would be understanding your nervous system.
which you have walked the walk so damn well. Like you've done all of the things and you practice what you preach, per se. Like I know that's a cliche saying, but like I've known you for years now and I know that you do what you say, and it is so inspirational. And I think like that would be your superpower from a big standpoint. You have that in yourself. And like you said, 14 years ago, you didn't have that. You didn't know that, right? And I think that's the funnest, is that a word? The best part about, but like as we evolve, not only in our business, but as people and humans, and like we joke about sacred elder energy, right? Like, but there's something so beautiful about it because you get to have that. And then like what I see in you and your gift is really like, whether you're taking people to Scotland or you're just having lunch at Panera with somebody, like you create that environment that just allows like a container to be themselves and to feel like there's no shame, there's no anything. Like you work really hard at that. And I think so often, and I think you nailed it. And I loved I wish I could pull it up right now. What you quoted about the nervous system the other day, that post about, I think I have it on my thing.
Oh, like I think it was Maston Kitt's
about
post around.
Yes, it was so good.
A business will never outgrow the nervous system's capacity to hold it, or something like that.
Yes, and I don't have it here right now.
It was a brilliant quote by him. I enjoy his work a lot. His trauma-informed work, his nervous system work. And it was interesting to see, I followed him for so many years, and it was interesting to see his journey going from pretty like broad-based life coach to then dealing his own trauma work and then working into a trauma-informed care as a coach, and then what he's created from that. And I love it because he has such a large platform,
right,
to bring a message to so many people about their nervous system. And that if we don't know how to work with the nervous system, we're not going to get the results we're seeking in business or life.
Absolutely, because our environment isn't primed for that. Like, and that's where I took your training, your SHIP method training last January, and it was life changing for me. And I knew the nervous system. My background is chiropractic. Like I would have been like, hey, no, I do. And I honor and I love that physical piece, but you just took it to a whole new level where I was like, shit, like this is like, there's so much more layers to it that I had to peel away and really be like, wow.
So nuanced. I'm finishing up of training right now with the Polyvagal Institute. Mm-hmm. And there are just so many nuances to the nervous system that when you understand like these tiny little things, it's like, oh. And what I love about learning about the nervous system for my system was it's very unshaming, meaning like the nervous system was developed in such a way for each individual to keep them alive and to survive situations that may have felt unsurvivable. And then there comes a point, hopefully, in people's lives, and not everyone has this privilege, where we're able to like pause and notice and then reconsider, is that adaptation of the nervous system still needed? And so in the business realm, just in my business, I've noticed through the years of my business has grown at the capacity of my ability to regulate my nervous system.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
And I never would have known that until I dove really deep these past like 5 years, actually since 2019, into understanding my nervous system. Like, oh, my business would stop growing and expanding because I wasn't in that ventral vagal state. I would be in this like high anxiety or functional freeze. So of course, like my business would contract because I didn't have the capacity to do more.
You're jazzing me up again for a whole new thing going through. Because I will agree 100%. And all of the people I have seen, like that is where they stop and they hinder. And it's a survival mechanism, right? Like our fight or flight comes in because if we don't listen and honor that, like we can't do things in the proper way. That
there's nothing wrong with you. Like that's part of, to me, the unshaming. It's like the nervous system is doing what the nervous system does.
Yeah.
What it was designed for. And yet, through conscious awareness, we can rewire ourselves to say, this isn't dangerous. Business success doesn't have to be dangerous. However, if there's unprocessed emotion from the past where being successful meant unsafe, you're not going to get to be successful until you clear that out.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. You're so right. And I hope people listening like feel that and know that. So what would you say? Like, and I feel like obviously you have 95 bazillion hours in training and all of this. I know what a continual student you are and how much you have dedicated to this. So I'm not saying like, hey, what, there's no one answer, right? But like for somebody that wanted to take that next step and they're like, this is resonating, like I need to do something. Like, what would you suggest? What could be something that they could do or take or learn or read or what? I don't know.
I think that my biggest suggestion would be to start understanding how your body relates to how you experience, and it's going to sound strange and I'll explain it, but how your body relates to how you experience your business. Meaning, you show up to work on your business and you're like, I don't want to do this today. I'm avoidant, like, right? That type of thing. Your nervous system is giving you information that something about your business doesn't feel safe for you.
Yep.
And so by moving the body, we can actually change our experience. So it's not even about having to change your business. It's about having to change what's happening inside of you and your relationship to your business. Some people are so scared of success that they shut down in their nervous system because of whatever it is inside them. So we don't have to psychoanalyze it. We can say, okay, like I used to be very scared of certain levels of success. And so physically, my body would retract. And I feel like my shoulders come up to my ears and my like arms almost like protect my heart and my solar plexus. And I would like get small. And so as I knew that kind of imprint of energy in my system, it was like, okay, it may not feel safe to be successful yet. And I don't want to lie to myself. But is it safe to just like roll out my shoulders and open up my body and move some energy around while I'm about to sit at my computer? Because there's no danger in sitting at my computer.
So simple and so profound.
So I allow my body to inform me of what needs to shift in order to move the energy in my business.
And I love that. And I think like, to connect it into thinking about all of these safe communities that you've been able to do, like you also can now read people's energy and like you can feel if they need to do that too. So you're good about calling that out too and sharing and helping people in that avenue as well.
I mean, as a yoga therapist, and that's, a lot of the extent of my training through the years, one of the main trainings I was taught to read facial expression, to read body. Like I had to write reports on why a client would change the certain thing in their body. And then I had to write reports on why my body shifted while I was offering a session. So like there were video recordings, I had to send them in, and my mentor would be like, why did you cross your legs or bring your knee into your chest when they were talking about that? What was happening for you? So it was very self-reflective of understanding how we're co-creating experiences all the time with other people. And most of the time, we don't know what we're doing. Like most of the time, we're so operating out of the subconscious, and our body will tell the story of what our words are not.
It's so true.
It's so true. And when we understand that about ourselves, we can get curious. Like, how come every time I, go to work on this part of my business, I find myself scrolling? Or how come every time I think about, launching a program, like I want to go binge, right? Like I'm just giving examples. There's something inside that's like, I don't know if this is safe for me to do this. So we want to get curious of how can I then create an environment of internal safety to then let that energy be that which I'm creating from. We don't want to create for our business from a place of shame or fear. So the first 5 years of my business, I burnt out twice. And a lot of people were like, it's compassion fatigue, because I worked in pretty deep levels of trauma work through yoga therapy. And what I come to know now, it had nothing to do with compassion fatigue. It was codependency burnout. It was because I was basing my value and my worthiness and the success of my business on whether my clients were successful. Because I felt so unworthy.
I feel like we just need to let that sit for a minute for people, because that's huge.
It was huge.
Huge.
And I'm so grateful for God because, and I'm going to go there for a moment.
Please do.
God doesn't ever want us to base our worthiness on anything outside of his love for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I do believe that we will be given situations where he's like, yeah, I'm going to cut that IV off for you because you need to return to my love for you is where you're getting your energy from.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, and thankfully that happened several times until I really understood, oh, I can't grow a successful business from the energy of shame. And why would I want to?
Correct. So good. It's so true. And when you can come back to that center, like that is absolutely, and regroup and redo. Oh my gosh, Kate, that's so good and so true. I feel like we've had so many conversations.
Like to me, it's not that I don't have like those moments of gosh, like who am I to do that or things like, because I think that's just the nature of being human is we're going to have times of self-doubt. We're going to have times of like, you know, why am I being given this opportunity or why? And I think that's normal. And I think in some ways it can keep us humble, but we don't want to stay in that. We don't want to create from that energy. We want to be creating our business from a place of safety. And I don't mean safety like, some people relate safety to like physical harm and threat. I mean, from the energy of safety, which in the nervous system is your ventral vagal state. So it's considered, you know, safe in social engagement. It's what allows us to do this and feel excited and good about it. And a business that's running on ventral vagal activity is going to thrive. A business that's running on sympathetic overload like fight or flight is eventually going to tank out.
Absolutely.
A business that's running in like a dorsal vagal shutdown is going to go into collapse mode because there's nothing powering it.
No. Oh my gosh. This is where like you have so many talents and gifts, but like it does all come down to this because if you can't have that like peace and that wholeheartedness, like what are we doing? Like how do we even like function? And I think of the times even when I've had burnout or burnt out or like I'm not doing this today, like if I had some of this thought, and even after taking your training, game changer for me from my business and my standpoint and how I even coached people to be just more aware and all of that. So like your gift of sharing and being able to make it simplified, even though you throw these big words in and you can remember a date better than anybody I know. You're back in 2003.
Blessing and a curse. I will say that. That is for sure.
But your superpower is really like allowing people to just think about things in such a simple way. Like it doesn't have to, you don't have to move mountains to make that change, right?
I wish I knew that. Like I've been thinking a lot lately on like, you know, I was 30 when I took my first yoga teacher training and I'm 44 and I'm like 14 years ago. And I've been in private practice business that whole time with stints in being employed, but still running my business side by side is if I could have known one thing when I was 30 that would have made the greatest impact in my healing journey, it would have been knowing my nervous system like this. Like that to me was like, oh, had I known that then what I know now, it probably would have been a lot more grace-filled and a lot less suffering.
Oh my gosh.
And
that was actually
where that I went through what I went through to be able to help and serve in the ways that I do now. And I'm super comfortable in that. But I also understand that like every human that walks this earth has a nervous system. And that nervous system is programmed very differently based on the experiences when we were in utero, based on our childhood imprinted experiences from 6 years of age and younger. And a lot of it is without our consciousness or control. And yet, if we're learning, oh, like this causes me to feel anxious, or this causes me to feel relaxed, or this causes me to feel safe to be playful with someone, right? Like think of the different kind of conversations or experiences we might be having as entrepreneurs in thriving in our business instead of grinding, right? Instead of that like exhaustion of hustle because we're trying to earn our worthiness.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I want to eliminate that for entrepreneurs in a lot of ways. Like you don't have to be putting in 70 hours a week, grinding yourself until you can barely function to have a thriving business.
No.
It's actually counterintuitive and eventually it doesn't work.
Yeah. And I have seen that more times than I can count. Like it's the way it's supposed to be, right? Like you have to do that. You have to do these things, but you don't. And I think like that was one of the things that I really learned through you, and why like I love having you on here. It's because you can call that out and talk about it. And so often we just get in autopilot and we just do what we do and we think it's normal, and it compounds, and all of a sudden it's another hour here. It's another class here. It's another that and this. And it's okay to take care of ourselves, because that is where the magic happens. And my last question for you actually was like, if you could tell yourself when you started your business, what would you do? Like, I love that you just answered that all on your own, because I think that is something we should all think about, even though we don't need to wait, right, to learn all of the things, and to really be able to focus in on, what is the thing that we can do now that we wish we would have known then, I think is a huge piece. And is there anything that you would share that you do on a regular basis that you are like, I know that your morning routines and all of your stuff, like you do so many good things to take care of yourself.
The major difference for me is I'm trained in a certain breath practice called integral breath therapy. That is one of my practices that I trained in it in 19. It is one of those practices for myself that I continually go back to. I actually just finished 46 days in a row of 40 minutes of breathing every day to work through a certain layer, because I was stuck in my business and in my life in a certain way. And I was like, one of the best ways I know to clear the stuck stuff out is through deep breath work. And it's not cathartic. It's not re-traumatizing. It's like the breath naturally moves energy without having to put a lot of force into anything. And so learning to breathe in certain ways that balance and move your nervous system is always available then. And so and I think about, the breath is life. And where we get stuck in business or in life, we're void of life. And so by breathing in certain ways, we can reactivate that energy. So I would highly recommend business owners learn about their breath and about their nervous system and how to work the two together to change their business.
I love this. And I know like you do so many things right now, and your business has pivoted a lot, and there's a lot of things, but like, what are your offerings? Like, how can people work with you if they have questions or they want to learn more about you?
Private sessions, and they can be like a la carte, one at a time, or I have 6-month mentoring programs that I do with people. And so everything I do is multifaceted because everyone's nervous system is different. So there's a combination of like, it could be yoga therapy, breath therapy, energy medicine, spiritual direction, intuitive work. It's like all different types of holistic modalities blended together to support each individual on what their goals are, what's in the way, and how do we get them there. And I mean, that goes for, I work with people. Right now, I think my range of ages is 25 to 74. So
love it.
Because everyone has a nervous system.
Oh yeah, they do. There's that.
So I work with people internationally, online. I work with people in person a couple days a week. And so, it's really the best way to create an impact for people to live that authentic life. And sometimes it's deep trauma work. Sometimes it's one session and we just get the energy moving and we go from there. So I do mentor other business owners in all different facets of things. I train people. I offer workshops and classes. So I'd say probably my website, which is kateship.com, is going to be your best resource on what I'm offering.
All of your offerings. I agree. And if you guys don't, you should follow her on Instagram too. What is your Instagram?
It's KateShip333.
Yeah, you have fun. I love your post. Half the time I repost what I post has probably come from Kate, to be honest.
Yeah, I would say this to someone earlier, like I don't have a big branded Instagram. Again, it's very authentic to me.
That's what I was just going to say.
You never know what you're going to get from me each day.
But that's what I love. And I think that's how people fall in love with you, because you are so authentic to yourself. And like, so when I said, like, you're walking the walk, you're practicing what you preach, you are just that authentic person, and you just empower the people around you to do the same thing. I'm in your class right now, U 2.0, which has been amazing and so powerful. And like, and that's one thing you do really well too, is continually create these little ways and workshops for people to work with you and to come into your world, whether it's for just this little tiny session, or I know you have about a bazillion people who have followed you for life and are lifers with you and want to do anything that you do because they just value your work so much. And I have had the honor in the last few years too of being in your stuff and working with you and being part of Live Well Center. And it's truly been amazing. And that's why I was like, I need you as one of my first guests because you just exude, there's so much goodness. And again, I feel like we didn't even get to any of the questions that I really thought I would ask. So this is what I love about this. Like we might have another session. I might ask you back. And maybe when you're back from Scotland after your trip will be amazing. Because we didn't even get to talk about Scotland. Is your next trip sold out? I'm assuming too.
Scotland is sold out.
Okay.
And then we're launching Italy very soon. So we'll have a retreat in the Tuscan region of Italy in June of 26. So that will be launching probably within the next week, actually. Yeah.
Okay. And it just Choose Happy Travels have its own website, or is that part of your Kate Ship website too?
Creation, but it does have its own Instagram, which is Choose Happy Travels. So you can find us on there, and there's a link to like get on our emails. So if you're interested in international retreats, there's one international a year. We will be adding in one trip in the US a year also. I think this is the very, very, very beginning stages of what Choose Happy Travels is going to turn into.
Oh, I can feel it. I have goosebumps. And I have to say, like, as we wrap up here, I know not a lot, but I know a good chunk of people that came back with you in September, and every single person has had their lives changed. I don't know what you guys did that was so amazing and powerful, but
I don't know either. It was truly magical. I'll be curious to see this next time. One person who went before is coming back, and then it's a whole other group. The itinerary is very different than the last time. And so I'm curious to see is it the magic of Scotland? Is it just the power of the intention of a group of amazing people coming together for their own, joy, adventure, and wellness in one setting?
I know. I love this so much. But I do think like that community and that ability for you to hold that energetic space and lead and help, like that's really so damn powerful. And not a lot of people have that gift. So I love that you lean into it and you just do it. You're like, screw it. I'm just going to do it. Like to have that calling on your life and know that you're impacting others, like, oh my gosh, it's such an inspiration. So I just adore you. And this has been amazing. And I'm so great. You shared so many powerful takeaways that I can't wait to see what people do. And truly, you guys follow her, get on her website, whatever you need to do to get more of her in your life. I promise you it will be for the better. So thank you so much, Kate.
Thank you so much.